Hello once again, and welcome to the Clear Skies Retirement Podcast with Jay Kirkwood of Secure Financial Management. My name is Randy Cook. We are here to talk a little bit about you and your money, maybe a little bit about the economy and the markets and all that kind of stuff. But really, Wall Street is one thing, Main Street is something else, and that's where we want to help you. And Jay is here to do just that. Jay, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Randy. How have you been since last we spoke?
I'm good. I was just wondering, do people come in, and I know there's so much economic news out there, and the Fed is going to cut rates, and how many times are they going to cut rates, and it's an election year. Are these major concerns when people walk through the door? They seem to be uneasy economic times, but do people immediately bring that kind of stuff up because they're close to retirement?
Yep. Well, close to retirement or already in retirement. Right. Mm-hmm. Those are all concerns. You know, we're in an election year, and it happened in 2020. It happened in 2016. Every year that we have that election, people are concerned about which party or which candidate is going to be in control of government. It's an understandable concern, but what's really interesting about that is we just published a graphic of this a few weeks ago on our Facebook page. And it kind of shows basically, if you go back, and I can't remember how long it was, to 1950, 1960, whatever, a long way, go back a long way. Mm-hmm. It shows, hey, if you had only invested when Democrats were in power, okay, and you put, and I'm making these numbers up because I can't remember at the top of my head, but you'll get the point, right? If you'd only invested when Democrats and you put $10,000 back in the market 70 years ago, you'd have $400,000.
Okay.
If you'd only done it when Republicans were in power, you'd have 300 or whatever it is, right?
Okay.
There's not that much between them.
Got it.
If you had just stayed invested and you hadn't let your emotions come into it, you'd have like $2 million.
Yeah.
And so, I think when it was posted, I think from memory, the amount, if you were invested just when Democrats, I think it was a bit higher. Mm-hmm. And I had one of my clients who is a Democrat said, "Oh, well, see, there's proof that you should invest with Democrats." I was like, I'd rather have the $2 million, frankly. Yeah. I don't really care.
Yeah, I know we quote Warren Buffett here and there, and Warren Buffett, he says, "I've invested under 14 presidents, 7 Democrats, 7 Republicans, and I've made money under all of them." He said, "If you let your emotions get carried away with politics," he goes, "you're going to miss out on a lot of the party." That was his phrase.
Like we did have that. We had. Oh man, going back to Obama, we had clients who were conservatives that said, I don't want to invest because, I think Obama's going to crash the economy. Mm-hmm. Well, they missed out on a bunch of money, right?
Yeah.
It was the same thing when Trump was elected in 2016. He's going to start World War III. We don't want to. They missed out on a bunch of money, right? So, just we can look back the last 15 years and see that illustration of what's happened for decades. It's true.
Yep. Well, there are a lot of people that are going either way on this thing. And I have heard, is the Fed going to give us that soft landing? Is all that's going on right now going to get the soft landing? But there are still people out there that say we are going to have a recession. There are some people that say we're actually in a recession now. We just don't know it, and we'll know it 6 months from now. So there's still a lot of that out there. And there was an article that talked about what do you do if you're headed for a recession? So they talked to financial advisors, and they came up with these 5 things that you can do to try to protect yourself. Number 1, build up your cash reserves. Number 2, pay off high interest debt. Number 3, adjust your risk levels. Don't try to time the market. And stay calm. Don't do any knee-jerk reactions. So when you look at that list, is that a list that you say, okay, there's some good stuff there, or I would add this to that list? What do you think?
So this is the thing. There is going to be a recession. Mm-hmm. It doesn't take a ton of forecasting skills to say that. The real value is knowing when that's going to happen. And I don't know that. None of these pundits, even who say that they know that you don't know it. So you need to kind of always be ready, right? You should always have that plan. So, I know some of the things they listed was pay off debt, have an emergency fund, don't try and time the market, don't let your That's good advice always.
Okay.
Not just when the recession's coming around, right? That's good advice always. The idea of the soft landing, I know they've been talking about that for a while. At least the data that we see thus far seems to indicate that as well. Mm-hmm. This is all I try to prepare our clients for. And I sent a video out to them I don't know, 4 or 6 weeks ago, kind of on this topic, like, what is there a Fed rate cut coming up? Probably, right? Probably it looks like in September there will be. Mm-hmm. It sure seems that way. And, is this soft landing going to happen? I hope so, because it makes my life way easier, right? We have just great economic conditions, so I'm not rooting against it. I can promise you that. It would be really unusual for that to happen. Mm-hmm. It's pretty rare, right? When you go through a rate tightening cycle, the reason that they do that is the economy is very hot. Typically that leads to inflation. Well, what did we see? Mm-hmm. Yeah, led to inflation, right? Now, why did that inflation? That's another discussion. Was there too much stimulus put? Probably, right? Probably all that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're in an inflationary environment. We need to kind of calm things down. We raise, or the Fed raises interest rates to basically try and curb lending, slow down economic activity a little bit, to also then bring inflation down. It's pretty rare that they get that exactly right. Mm-hmm. And the timing is exactly perfect, right? I sure hope they do it. Somebody listening to this show, and I can tell you we do it for our clients, we're always prepared for, hey, if something really goes wrong, do we still have the stability in our plan to make sure we're making our retirement dreams happen?
It is so important that you go into retirement and know that there's a difference in paradigm here. It is you've gone from saving and saving and saving and putting money away to using that money. And that means you probably have to change some of your mindset there and kind of go into protection mode. And what they're talking about in this article is exactly that, is rebalancing because of risk. Make sure you have cash reserves. These are good ideas, as Jay said, anytime for any retiree and people getting into retirement. Give us a call. Let's talk through it. If your main concern is the economy, the election, all these things, that's fine. Let's get those questions answered. Give Jay a call, 210-985-6200. 210-985-6200, or find us online at retire210.com. That's retire210.com. And if you've enjoyed this podcast and you want to hear more, hit that follow or subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform. And again, thanks for listening to the Clear Skies Retirement Podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Investment advisory services offered through investment advisory representatives at Secure Financial Management, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed are not designed nor intended to be applicable to any person's individual circumstances. It should not be considered as investment advice, nor does it constitute a recommendation that anyone engage in or refrain from a particular course of action. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate, and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Secure Financial Management is licensed in your state, please contact their office. Secure Financial Management is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Wholesalers Insurance. Jamin J. Kirkwood, Texas Insurance License number 1421850.